So let's look at installing and configuring NFS. Now Samba or SMB is the foundational Windows networking protocol for sharing files and printers. For sharing files in Linux, the foundational protocol is NFS. NFS, you do have Windows clients for NFS occasionally, and they've gone by different names. But typically, if you're doing a mixed network environment, Samba is going to get you a little bit farther than NFS will. However, NFS actually integrates a little closer with the Linux security system, so that's a benefit too. So if you're doing Linux to Linux networking, you can use either Samba or NFS. NFS is going to be a little more native. So let's start by installing NFS. So it's apt, wrong window, apt install NFS kernel dash server. And yes, we want to go to install that. All right, so that installs our NFS kernel server. Now, next thing we need to do is we want to create a folder to share for our NFS data. So we're going to mkdir /etc, not etc, just /. We're going to do NFS, and we're just going to put all of our NFS shares underneath there. Now that's going to be our root. I'm going to create another one underneath that /sales. And that's actually, so /NFS here is going to be our root. This is going to be some of the data that we're actually sharing. Now I want to give everyone full control of it. And again, this isn't something that you would normally do. I'm doing it this way just for convenience sake because it's fast, easy, and I'm not going to have to worry about security. So chmod 777 /NFS /sales, and that's going to give everyone full access to it. All right. Our data is going to be stored in our etc exports file. So I can view that by, let's nano instead of cat. Let's nano /etc exports. And this is going to be our little sample configuration file. And this is going to be a really simple configuration file. Now, again, just like with Samba, I can edit this file or I can create a backup copy of it so that I don't have to worry about losing it. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to control X to exit here. Then we're going to create a copy using the move command. Move etc exports to /etc let me do that correctly. Exports.org for original. Okay, now that I've moved it, that moves or renames the file. Now let me create a new etc exports file. All right, so we've got a brand new file here. Now, my first one is going to be NFS. That's going to be my root. And asterisk, this indicates which networks can connect to it. And so by doing asterisk, I'm saying everybody can connect to it with read and write permissions. And then fsid equals 0. And we're not going to go into great detail about this. I just want you to see real quick how it works. And then we're going to do NFS sales. And I'm going to allow anybody to have access, anybody to have access to that one as well. And we'll do read write. And we're going to issue the command no subtree check. And that should keep it from trying to run everything else. So that's all I really need to do to create these exports. And an export here, think of an export in an NFS kind of like a share in Windows Server or Windows file sharing. So I want to write out that file and then Control X. Now there's one other one that I'm going to play with, and this isn't going to be a huge issue because I'm just going to kind of loop back here. But if I was doing this with another system, this might be kind of important, and that is, let's look at the etc /id mapd.conf file. So this has to do with setting our local domain and then mapping users between different systems. In this case, we're just going to change our domain to our domain name, which is bassett311.local. Okay, that sets all of our options for this file. So Control O to write out, Control X to exit. Now, because I have updated the configuration, I need to restart my NFS kernel server. So it's systemctl restart NFS kernel server. Then I want to take a look at the status of it. And I want to see that it is right here loaded and active. Okay, so at this point, it's up and running. Now, if I'm going to test it, I need to be able to connect to it. And with Samba, I used the Samba client. With NFS, I actually treat it as a mount point. So I'm going to create a new directory in my MNT folder. So mount, make a new directory in MNT, and I'm going to call it NFS. Yeah, we'll just call it NFS. Now, I want to mount this using my mount command. So I'm going to mount localhost is going to be my server :/sales. Now I don't have to do NFS sales because I have NFS already put in by that first entry in my exports line that identified that as the root. So I'm going to mount sales to /MNT/NFS. So to see if this works, I am going to cd/MNT/NFS, and let me create a new folder or a new directory, NFS test, and I see it there. So now let me head back out, cd/NFS/sales. And this is my local access to it, and there we go. So here I was able to access it through my mount point, create a new folder. When I come back out here through my standard connection, or just through my file system, I can find it there as well. So NFS is actually really simple to use. We install the NFS kernel server, we create our exports, and then we just mount it. We mount that, and we're mounting a share basically from across a network connection. And after it's mounted into our file system, we use it just like we would anything else. So NFS becomes a very nice solution for file sharing in a Linux-based system.